Welcome, one and all, to a brand new episode of the Comic Multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. I am your host, Joel. I'm not where I normally am this week. I'm over in Victoria, BC. I will be for the next couple weeks. But, Matt, I think there's an elephant in the room we need to address here. A big orange elephant with bad hair. This is our first post-Trump show, isn't it?
It is.
Man, that was a weird couple of days, wasn't it?
It was really weird. Like, the internet collectively got triggered and had a heart attack, and then decided to go burn stuff.
If there was like a sound effect that I think could sum it up for me personally, and I'm sure everyone else would agree, it was a giant collective sigh, just a big. And thank you everyone who wrote nice comments on the Doctor Strange spoiler cast. It actually came out on that Wednesday. Tuesday was the election. Everyone said, basically, hey, thank you, Joel and Matt, for giving me something nice and funny to listen to. I really needed that. And, we'll always be here on the Comic Multiverse to try and make you feel better.
Yeah, it's our job.
But yeah, I mean, how we feel now that, the Emperor is basically in charge.
A hybrid between Palpatine, Skeletor, and a James Bond villain.
Pretty much. Unlimited hair gel. For now and forever. Jesus Christ. It's even funnier, and we'll talk about this when we talk about, like, the comics we read this week, but Nick Spencer, the current Captain America writer, did something really brilliant by having the Red Skull more or less embody this new crazy alt-right movement, being like, it started in Greece and Europe, and now it's here in America, and, like, absolutely making the Red Skull be a Donald Trump stand-in. I bet he didn't think he'd actually win, though, when he was writing that story.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter who won, he would have been right anyway, so...
I would really like now, and I wouldn't be shocked if he did this, if they scrapped every idea they had planned for that book and be like, no, now Red Skull needs to keep winning, and he needs to become president, and then the Avengers need to fight him, and that's your next big summer event, is what that is. President Hydra. Clear and present Hydra, that's what you could call it. I'd read it 9 times. But
I would as well.
But yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm traveling for the last couple weeks. It's funny, but people said there, it's like, oh, geez, Donald Trump won. I'm leaving America now. I'm moving to Canada. I live in Canada. What did I do? I went even deeper into the provinces. Now I went to the hippier, granola-y, more trendy coffee shop side of the country is what I went to. I'm in Victoria, BC, where I am right now, visiting some family. Oh, I had fun, Matt. I got to feed the seals. I got to go to the ocean. It was a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah, doing some cool stuff here. A lot of really cool comic shops in the city. I got to go to a place called Cherry Bomb, which is like this retro action figure shop. They sell comics too. But upstairs they had like an actual like toy museum.
Huh, cool.
Yeah, they had like original first run G.I. Joes, like right after World War II, still in the box and everything. I thought that was pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool.
It was funny, though, to travel post this Trump thing, because just everywhere I went, people were either really depressed or really happy. It was quite a thing, and I had a very weird experience, because I actually got pulled aside in the airport for extra screening. And I'm like, okay, what the hell is up with this? Keep in mind, I've maybe only ridden on a plane 3 times in my whole life. I'm like, why am I getting pulled aside for extra screening? Turns out there's like an old IRA guy whose name is also Joel Daly. Yeah.
You running with those Irish fucking terrorists,
yeah.
are you?
Yeah, apparently. The dude was like 59, and like they looked me over once. It's like, I'm guessing you're not this guy, huh? You're not related to him? No, I'm not. Okay, we just had to check. So, they put away the big blue gloves that were going to go up my tuchus, up my butthole. They were done with that. But that was a funny situation. And then it got even weirder from there. So, like, I'm at the snack stand, right, trying to get some gum to pop my ears for the ride, you know, because I like that. That's the one thing I remember about flying. Your ears get all messed up. And all around me, I see this dark shadow following me, and I don't know what's up with it. I see it out of the periphery of my eyes. I turn around, it's gone. I see it out of the other side of my eyes. Boom, it's gone. I'm getting really freaked out. I'm ready to go up and pay for my stuff. It's only when I look behind me, I assume death was following me, just, you know, the grim specter of death, that this is how I die. No, it was just a kindly Hasidic Jewish man who was like, hey man, you dropped your headphones. Yeah, but he was dressed like the Undertaker. He had the big black coat and the hat and the gloves and everything. I'm like, oh good, you're not death. That's good, that's cool.
That's how they get you. They lure you into a false sense of security, and then bam, he touches you and you die.
That's how you die. Hey, you dropped your headphones. Here, take them. Take them in the eternal embrace. No, I'm good, man. I can buy them when I'm on the plane. It's all good, man. But yeah, that's been my week. It's been nuts. Well, what about you, Matt?
Me, I've just been trying to catch up with reviews and everything.
Big week. Lots of comics. Lots of solid comics, too. I've liked pretty much everything I've read the last little bit.
Yeah, we also got some really cool trailers for movies that are coming out. That new Ghost in the Shell movie looks really cool.
See, I skipped that because it's just like, you know, I never watched the original anime version, so I don't feel strongly one way or the other. I know this movie has become kind of a lightning rod recently on a number of different issues, but hey, you know what, if you say it's cool, I'm taking it you watch the anime, so if you think it's cool, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I watched the anime, and it looks like it's a pretty faithful adaptation. I know, like, at the start, there's in the anime at the start of the movie, there's like this really great
where she's
like
naked
a scene,
killing folks.
Yeah, where she's like being made,
right?
And it's like a big 5-minute sequence, and apparently they recreated that shot for shot in the movie,
like Westworld.
Yep.
Man, that's a show I got into on the ride here. I got all caught up on Westworld. Man, that show's pretty great.
It is. It's really great. I can't wait for tonight's episode. Apparently, it's a really big episode.
Ooh, I like that show is filled with video game logic, is what it's filled with.
Well, it is. It's like a big video game.
It is. I love the one jerk player who's like, no, he's just going to get you into a side quest. Don't pay attention to the story. Just shoot the prostitutes. That's the best way to get your money's worth in this 40 grand a day game. Man, it better be a great game for 40 grand a day.
Seems like a pretty good game.
I'd love to see that, what is it, friggin' the Allfather Ford, if he starts rolling out, like, DLC and patches. Just to really make it like a game, like, oh my god, we gotta do an upload patch before we can even get into the park. God. Oh, geez, everything crashed again. The servers, geez.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a cool show, Westworld. I'm all about that. You know what also is a cool show, Matt? And a lot of people were really enjoying this. This was kind of the nice bit of news we got before the terrible bit of news, which was the Trumpy, and that was that Young Justice Season 3 is coming. It's a thing now. It's real.
I know. Caught everyone by surprise.
Tell me about it. We hoped, we prayed, we thought about it. I'll admit, Matt, I had given up all hope on it. Like, I am not afraid to say I had given up all hope on Young Justice Season 3. I'm like, if it would have happened by now, it, would have, and it hasn't. But, yeah, just out of the blue.
I'm cautiously optimistic, mainly because shows that come back due to fans basically whining to the creators and everything about it, wanting to come back and making change.org petitions and whatnot. Usually they're not too good.
You know what? It's really sad, but Matt actually kind of has a point there. Family Guy when it came back, friggin' Community when it came back, Arrested Development when it came back. By and large, most people don't like those new episodes.
No.
Which is really unfortunate, and I'm really worried about Young Justice 2 given the current state of Cartoon Network and their animation, where they're like, okay, we'll let you have Young Justice Season 3, but it's got to be a comedy now.
Yeah, and it's got to be 10 minutes short.
It's only going to be 11 minutes, and it's got to be a comedy, because that's the thing. We only know that Season 3 is coming. We do not know what form it is taking.
Yeah, and we don't know who's going to be in it, even if the animation style is the same. Mm-hmm. None of that.
What night, what network? Is this going to be a Netflix thing? Is Cartoon Network still going to air it because they did such a bang-up job the first time?
Yeah, they cancelled it because toys weren't selling, weren't they?
Yeah, amongst other things too. I mean, that show was rife with mishandlement. You know, them putting it on at wrong times, them completely and utterly just removing the show for like months at a time and never explaining why.
Yep. Same thing happened with the Green Lantern animated series.
That one was also mishandled. That was the lead-in show, which that
Yep.
was a good show too, and I'm sad we'll never see more of that show as well.
It was a really good show.
Especially because the creator of that show basically came out and said, "Yeah, and if we got another season, this is what we would have done," and it sounded amazing. Yeah, you would have gotten.
It did sound amazing.
Yeah, you would have gotten to see Sinestro fall to the dark side and become a Yellow Lantern. We would have done our own version of Blackest Night with all those characters we subtly killed off. Oh yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah.
Would have brought in
Shame.
Kyle Rayner and all those other Green Lanterns. Too bad you won't get to see it now.
Yeah, God damn it, we could have had like another animated universe like what we had with, Batman, Superman, Justice League, all them shows. God damn it.
It's funny, everyone wants those shows to come back, Young Justice and Green Lantern. Notice no one is saying bring back Beware the Batman.
Oh yeah, because everyone forgot about it.
They did, because that
For
show...
good reason.
That show was instantly forgettable. The best thing about that show was the theme song, because it had like a sweet guitar riff. Beware. That was the best part of the show. I could listen to that over and over again. In fact, I do on hour loop sometimes. That was friggin' sweet. Actually, I was in the store the other day, and in the bargain bin, where it should rightfully be, is the complete Beware the Batman. And they have a big sticker on there where it's like, with several hours of unseen, never aired footage. I'm like, yeah, all the episodes that never made it to air because it got canceled.
Yeah, the end half of season 1 or whatever it was.
It only made it one season. Which, man, that's gotta sting for the animators and writers and everyone who worked really hard on that show. Like, I didn't like it, but that's gotta be such a smack in the face to be like, yeah, we're not even gonna let you finish airing these.
Yeah, and I bet they were surprised as well. It was like, but it's Batman. Anything Batman sells.
I know, right? Even the worst Batman things do really well. To think the amount of apathy it must have generated in people for a Batman show to not only get canceled, but to not finish what the episodes it had.
Yep.
I remember I reviewed it back on Comic Book Cast, and every episode was, I'm like, wow, this is really dumb. And people got mad at me for telling the truth and saying that it was dumb.
People don't like the truth. I think I watched like one episode of it, and it had I think it was Katana or someone in it.
She was the sidekick. She was the Robin, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. That's basically all I can remember.
It had a great idea at its core, and that is, look, let's tell Batman, like, a couple years into his thing, he's not the super badass that we know. Gordon is still a lieutenant at this point, and let's, instead of having all the AAA villains that everyone knows and loves, let's use some of the minor villains, like, Professor Pig and whatnot. That's a smart idea. Where they completely ruined it, though, is instead of like writing new interesting motivations for these villains, all they did was essentially have the like lesser villains fill the void of the A+ villains. So Professor Pig wasn't really Professor Pig. He was just Poison Ivy, but for animals instead of plants. Anarchy wasn't really Anarchy. He was just the Joker in a white costume, and so on and so forth. That's all it was. And that was really unfortunate, because it's like, well, if you're just going to tell the same stories, then why didn't you just use the same characters?
Exactly.
In fact, if they used the AAA villains, I bet the show would have stayed.
Yeah, it definitely will. People would have seen, hey, that show's got the Joker in it. I'm going to watch that and like it.
Yeah, it can't be that bad then, so that's unfortunate. I did like their take on Silver Monkey, though. Then again, Silver Monkey is a Green Arrow villain, so of course I like him. Silver Monkey was the heavy. Silver Monkey was like the Deathstroke stand-in, although I think eventually they would actually use Deathstroke. Now, the only reason I mentioned Beware the Batman in conjunction with Young Justice and Green Lantern is that they were both in that CG style. It seemed for a bit there they wanted to build like a CG universe.
Yeah, DC CG universe.
Ooh, that nice. I like that, Matt. I'm sure someone had that on a whiteboard in an office somewhere.
Yes, that's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Because you just know, had they continued, the Green Lantern show would have crossed over with that Batman show at some point.
You think so?
Well, I mean, they use the same art style. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, maybe.
And then they're like, well, if people like that, then we can launch like another show off the back of it.
Yeah, that's true.
And people will like that. I mean, hey, c'est la vie. Well, what do you want to see for Young Justice Season 3, Matt? I did a video where I mentioned a number of things I wanted. What do you personally want to see out of the third season of the show?
I don't know. I have to go back and watch the other seasons because I vaguely remember what happened in the end of season 2, Invasion or whatever the hell was going on.
Hey, they're on Netflix.
I wouldn't mind them seeing go on. I don't think they're on Australian Netflix.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I wouldn't mind seeing it go how Justice League Unlimited went and introduced like minor like D-list characters as like team members or like stand-in team members.
They basically did with Static and all those runaway characters, like the newer versions of the Super Friends. They had Samurai and El Dorado and all those other ones redone. They went pretty D-list actually.
Yeah, that's true. I'm wondering if they can also connect it to the movies because some of the DC animated movies are kind of sort of connected to this.
Well, the Justice League that they use in that is literally the ones from Crisis on 2 Earth. It's the same character models.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the same voices they recycled too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big thing too. They haven't mentioned for season 3. A lot of the voice actors were happy that the show got renewed, but we don't know if they're going to get all the same voices back.
Yeah, that'll suck if they don't.
Hope they get Batman back because I really liked him. Bruce Greenwood. I think he's probably my second favorite Batman next to Conroy in animation. I think he's the only name I'll accept.
Yeah, he's got a good voice for Batman.
He's been in a couple. He was in one of the better movies. He was in Under the Red Hood. He had all of Young Justice. He's good. He's gruff but maternal. He's like your dad Batman is what he is. Where it's like, hey kids, but let's play some basketball though.
I reckon if they don't get him, they'll just go for the one who's the Batman at the moment, that Jason O'Mara guy.
I don't like him
that
much.
He's kind of generic.
Here's the thing. Jason O'Mara, to give him a backhanded compliment, gets better with every movie they do with him, but he's still not great 5 or 6 movies in.
Yeah, he's at that plateau region now where it's just the same.
Maybe if they do 20 of these. Now, here's a question for you, Matt. So, between Young Justice Season 1 and Young Justice Season 2, there was a gigantic time skip, and they introduced, a bunch of new characters. In just 2 seasons, they had practically the entire DC universe. Do you think they would jump again?
Maybe. I might be good for them if they did maybe jump it in real time.
Yeah.
When the show was cancelled to, when it airs, so however many years is that? Well, 2 years or something?
Oh, man, if you do that, then you know what you gotta do. You open up on the show, Dick Grayson is Batman now.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
All the sidekicks have taken up the mantles now. Dick Grayson is Batman, Static Shock and Dakota are going strong. You gotta do that thing. Oh, you know what? If you did that too, hey, look at these 2 new Green Lanterns. Hey, Jess, hey, Baz.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, just totally start inserting them now and have them be new and cool. I'm trying to think what new young characters could you add in. Well, Damian, you could have Damian just be like, yeah, Damian's the new Robin now. Oh, dude, you could do Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin run, where Dick Grayson is Batman and Damian is his sidekick.
That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, my God, don't play with my heart. That would be great. Obviously, Season 3, too, will have to deal with the cosmic side of it, because at the very end of Young Justice Season 2, they reveal Apocalypse and Darkseid.
Yeah, so then, that'd be actually really, really cool.
You could get all the cosmic characters in there, too.
Oh, the new gods.
You could get your new gods and your Orion and all those other guys. They actually did have the Forever People, which is cool. You could bring them back. I think, because I talked to Greg Wiseman a long time ago in an interview that I think is lost to the annals of internet now for whatever reasons, but I think he said when he was writing the show originally, he had a whole timeline Bible from World War II and the JSA all the way up to the Legion of Superheroes in the future.
Oh my God, that'd be the Legion, please.
That's an episode right there, the Legion, because the Legion are mostly younger characters too. They're all boy and everything like that. Have them come back in time and be like, whoa, hey, Young Justice guys, in the future, Darkseid and Vandal Savage totally destroy the world, so you need to come and help us out.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
They also never did Brainiac on Young Justice, I'm pretty sure.
I'm remembering Brainiac 5. Maybe it's from that Legion of Superheroes
I think
cartoon.
that's the one you're remembering.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? There's a lot of places you go, oh man, wouldn't this be a crazy one? You turn on the show and you got, Connor Kent, but you also have Jonathan now.
I was just thinking that, I'm like, they could go like the rebirth route and just say like this is a new Superman and this is his son, and there's a conflict between Connor and John because each of them is technically Superman's son. And
Yep.
Oh,
That would be cool. And also you could have Ollie Green Arrow be like, oh, hey, everyone, meet my kid, Connor Hawk. I didn't know I had him, but I just realized now.
that'd be great.
He's my half-black son, and I love him. He's got my blonde hair, and he's cool. Look at him. Isn't he great? Oh, and then you could have his young sister, too. You could have Emika. Oh, look, I found all sorts of family I didn't know I had. We're just pulling out new family from under the couch cushions. It's been a crazy couple years. And comic fans would totally accept that. They're like, yep, this is the sort of stuff that happens in time jumps. Yep.
Yep.
Yep, people just run around. Yep, what happens. What we're trying to say is Young Justice Season 3, sky is the limit for that one.
Yeah, well, we hope.
We really do, huh? Man, I don't know if I'll be able to handle that if it comes back and it's not good.
Yeah, as we were saying, comes back with like either a different art style or it's like shorts like Justice League Action or something like that.
If it makes me feel any better, it's knowing that Brandon Vietti and Greg Weisman are still involved. They were like the two big people behind it.
Yeah. But something also makes me think there was some type of deal made for it to come back.
That they had to make some sort of concession, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if they were only 11 minutes, that's fine. Steven Universe and Adventure Time do fine telling dramatic stories in 11 minutes. But still, it just wouldn't feel right.
No.
So, I guess from a really awesome piece of news to a really funny piece of news. Hey, Matt, you know Frank Cho? We love laughing at him, don't we? Seems like he's always in the news doing something silly. Well, now he just seems to be trolling everybody. So he gave an interview where he said, oh yeah, Wonder Woman, yeah, sure, I've had my problems with DC, but yeah, I totally pitched a series to them, and they love it, and I'm going to be doing it real soon. It's not going to have any of that silly gender stuff in it that's in other people's Wonder Woman books, even though woman is in the title, so you think gender's kind of an issue. That was a couple days ago. DC came out today and said, what are you talking about, Frank Cho? You never pitched us a Wonder Woman book. What are you on about?
I love it that he's now basically a troll. I like follow his shenanigans on Twitter and everything and what he does, and it's absolutely amazing what he's doing.
Well, Lord knows people aren't lining up for his artwork anymore, so he might as well stay in the news doing something.
Did you see everyone got really mad because he did a over in, I think it was Italy or Spain or something. He did a
he did a panel on women's issues in comics.
Women's issues in comics.
Just him, this one lone man, did a thing on women's issues in comics. Yeah, like what a freaking troll that guy is. But that bit got even funnier because Milo Marinara, the famous writer of or artist of erotic nudes, who is famous for basically just drawing pornography, he got into a similar trouble over a comic cover. It was that Spider-Woman cover.
Yeah, and he was there as well, and he inducted him into the Italian Art Hall of Fame or something like that.
And okay, Marinara, okay, I will give you credit. You're having fun with this bit and being a troll. The irony being, I have more respect for Marinara because erotic nudes is all the guy has ever done. That's his thing. I can understand why he's a little upset, where it's like, well, geez, Marvel, if you didn't want me doing this, why did you hire me in the first place to make these? Only to have people get mad at me, but yeah, so it's just hilarious. Cho, on the other hand, he's a bit of a jerk about it, honestly, and we can laugh and have fun with it. But he's like, well, I'm a artist for hire, but you can either take my work the way it is or not at all. And I'm like, no, dude, that's not how being an artist for hire works. I wouldn't get a plumber to come in to fix my pipes. He'll be like, no, I'm just going to fix them the way I want, and you have to deal with them. I'm like, no, I'll just get a different plumber then. You can't just rewrite the rules, Frank Cho. And he's like, I just did. But yeah, I knew we would have a nice laugh at that one. So, hey, there you go. Frank Cho gotta be Frank Cho.
and it's great.
He's 100% show is what he is. And moving on from that to another piece of news, this one was kind of unexpected, but in a positive way. One of the Netflix Luke Cage writers is going to be helming a brand new Elektra comic for Marvel.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. She looks exactly like she does in the Netflix series.
She sure does. I wonder what their reason is going to be for that, if they even give a reason at all. She's just like, oh, geez, I was digging in my closet and look what I found here. I guess I'll just start wearing this now forever. Yeah, I mean, at least with Daredevil, he's like, no, I'm trying to stay incognito now. I want people to forget that I was Daredevil, so I changed my costume. But with Elektra, it's like, well, what's your excuse? Nothing. But TV, yeah, them TV bucks is what it is. I changed my costume and I got unlimited Netflix. Don't have to pay a cent. It's great. Apparently, this book, too, is also going to be part of a brand new Daredevil event that they're starting called... Oh, and I love the title of this. It's called Running with the Devil. Yeah. So good, which is apparently going to include everything from Daredevil number 17, the Elektra book, the new Kingpin book, which is coming out. I'm really excited for that Kingpin book. I actually really loved that Civil War miniseries they did.
Yeah, that one was great.
Yeah, I can't wait to read more about Kingpin. And the Bullseye miniseries, which I had no idea the Bullseye book is going to be a miniseries, but apparently it's just going to be a miniseries.
Yeah, it probably just ties into this Running with the Devil series.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I would love to read more about Bullseye, but the fact is, what's so great about that character and so compelling is that you don't know anything about him and that you're not really inside his head and you don't know what makes him tick.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 100% unpredictable. He's a lot like Marvel's Joker in that way.
Yeah, he's a wild card.
Yeah, he is a wild, and which is funny because when you see him, what's he doing? He's always holding cards. Then he throws them at you. He'll do that. He'll throw them right at you. Moving on from Netflix-related news to movie-related news. Remember a while back we talked that the actress who played Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad was quite possibly developing her own solo spin-off movie because she liked the character so much?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently that movie has a writer now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same woman who also just so happens to be penning the Bumblebee solo movie from this Transformers universe they're trying to build. So apparently if you have a spin-off from a bigger team set, you go to this lady. She's like the hottest one in Hollywood to find now. She'll write you a spin-off.
Why does this Harley Quinn movie need to exist?
It
doesn't.
Because you know what? Because Harley Quinn was one of the few things people liked from Suicide Squad, and the actors really enjoyed playing her and actually took the initiative to try and get the movie made. But that's what, which honestly is more reason.
Be about?
I don't know. I mean, would it be a comedy? Would it be serious? I mean, what tone would you go with this? Would it reflect more the Harley Quinn comics currently, or would it be more like, Batman the Animated Series?
Well, it won't be comedy because we know DC can't do comedy for shit.
Whackity schmackity doo.
It'll be stare at the camera comedy. Like, yeah. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it, guys? It's a joke.
You know what I would appreciate, and I doubt they'll do this, although maybe they will, because apparently Margot Robbie said that she wanted to include some other female comic characters in this. Make it a Harley and Ivy movie. Do like a riff on those like great stories from the comics and the animated series when it was just those two driving around being Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Make it like a road movie, heist movie, like they committed a crime in Gotham, and now they gotta like drive to Mexico or something, and superheroes are chasing after them, and the mob is chasing after them, and the Joker's chasing after them. I'd watch that. That'd be a fun movie.
It would be a fun movie.
That would. I doubt they'll do the fun version of this, but if they did, I'd like to see them do that.
No, we'll probably get Harley's origin again, and then they'll try and make it so that she hates the Joker, even though in previous movies it shows that she doesn't. And although Matt, if they did want to do like a big budget movie version of Mad Love, I wouldn't say no. I'd be like, you know what? All right, that's kind of my jam. Get Paul Dini to produce, and I'm in. I will say though, this movie, you're saying, why does this movie need to exist?
I will say it deserves to exist more than a solo Bumblebee movie. I had to laugh when I read that part of the headline. I'm like, oh yeah, they want to spin off Transformers movies, don't they? Because they're all so interesting together, aren't they, Matt, in those movies?
Yes, they're a it's a painting of character development in those movies.
They're a rich tapestry, and we especially need Bumblebee, the one who can't talk, to have a movie to himself. We really need to know his rich, deep pathos, don't we?
Yep.
You see, he's a car, but what he really wanted to be was a truck.
Yeah, and it's about him transitioning to a truck.
Oh, well, now it's an Oscar contender.
Oh, yeah, and it's set during, the Holocaust.
As it should be. It's set during that. And we'll see how transitioning from car to truck really helped America win World War II. Is what it's all about. And also, along the way, a black guy and a white guy get along as well. and in doing so, save America. Oscar gold every time. I'm all about it. Let's make this movie now, Matt. You and me will go out in the field with the camera and we'll film this one. It'll be great. It'll be great. It's going to be great. You'll see. But, yeah, I mean, the Harley Quinn movie could really go either way at this point. Honestly, I'm surprised we heard any more of it. I thought this would just be a flight of fancy, and especially after the reception that Suicide Squad got, I would assume they would just kind of, play it off. But, I mean, I guess Harley Quinn sells a lot of merchandise. Daddy's Little Monster. I saw a lot of those this Halloween and at the con scene, and so they figure, hey, just on the price of those shirts alone, surely Harley Quinn should get a solo movie.
Yeah.
She's big business, man. She's the new pillar of DC Comics.
She is, and it's really surprising.
I know, right? We've always liked the character. I followed it. It's funny, because, this is a thing we saw happen, Matt. We saw the creation of the character on Batman the Animated Series. We saw her be one of the first real successful canon immigrants from the cartoons to the comics, to have a big, long run there, and now to have essentially taken over Hollywood. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and in a way, taking over Batman as well.
Yeah. Now it's before it used to be like, oh, well, when's Batman going to show up in this Gotham story? Now it's like, when's Batman or Harley Quinn going to show up in this Gotham story?
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. You know what else is kind of amazing? And, Matt, you might probably have seen this, because I get the feeling you follow him on Twitter, too. Dan Jurgens, the guy who's currently writing... which one's he writing? Is he writing Superman or Action Comics? I can never remember.
Action Comics.
He's writing Action Comics. He's also writing that abysmal Batman Beyond book, but apparently in the last little bit, he got in trouble and angered a bunch of veterans and millennials when he was writing about, I forget if it was Remembrance Day or Memorial Day. No, we Canadians have Remembrance Day. Americans have Memorial Day, but he basically tweeted a very angry tweet very late at night where he's like, yeah, it's Memorial Day, remember the veterans, they didn't have colleges or safe spaces, they just rolled up their sleeves and got things done, unlike you kids today. And it's like, whoa, Dan, who's never served in the military, where is this anger coming from?
It was pretty bad, but also he's kind of got a point about the millennials and the safe spaces and whatnot. But yeah, the way he said it wasn't very good.
It was, he has these outbursts all the time, and it only took a matter of time before veterans, actual veterans of newer war, stepped in and said, hey, Dan, who never served in the military yourself, PTSD is a real problem. Don't downplay it like that. And eventually, a couple lines later, he deleted the tweet, apologized to the veterans, but not to the millennials. And all I could think to myself is he had another outburst back when Jon Stewart was wrapping up The Daily Show. I remember Jurgens, because I followed him on Twitter, and this actually made me stop. He's like, yeah, fuck Jon Stewart, that little man piece of shit. I'm like, whoa, Dan. Where is this coming from? Because, you think, you read his Superman book, and he's like, sweet, happy, all-American. You're like, oh, this is great. Because, every time I read it, I can't help but read it in, angry Superman voice every time I do it. He went from Superman to Doomsday in just a couple tweets. I'm thinking there's a guy who probably drinks and probably gets on the social media who probably shouldn't. Like, where's my phone? I'll just put it straight out now.
No, Dan, no.
He's doing it again. But yeah, that was just kind of a funny story there, because I know we're both big Superman fans here and really like his work, so I thought we'd have a good chuckle at this one. And from there we come to I guess what you could call the main meat of the news this week, and this is a thing that I honestly didn't think we'd ever get a chance to talk about, and it's going to get very interesting, and I'd like to hear what Matt's take on this is. But there's rumors, there's rumblings that the X-Men film franchise might be set for another reboot very soon.
Doesn't surprise me. Don't they reboot at the end of every movie?
Every 3, they sure seem to. This, you know, at first I was going to, like, wipe this off and be like, no, they can't possibly do that again. But let's remember, A, this is Fox, who always make excellent choices with their superhero franchises.
Oh, yeah.
B, like Matt said, don't they reboot at the end of every 3 anyway? Logan will be, what's his face's last movie? Deadpool is apparently running into all sorts of trouble now, losing their composers, losing their directors.
Yep.
So that one looks to be a little rudderless right now, and all their big stars, all their Jennifer Lawrences and all their McAvoys and everything, they're done now, so they don't have the star power. Apocalypse not only didn't develop the younger cast of X-Men, like, at all, but it also came in like something like $200 million less than the previous movie. So I'm sure they're getting very frightened, and if I was in their shoes, I'd be a little frightened too.
Yeah, they're losing money and putting out bigger and bigger films.
I'm sure they're like, but I thought we fixed it, though. I thought with First Class and Days of Future Past, I thought we got it right again. Yeah, you did, then you messed it up again. You messed it up again, and then you made a really awesome movie with Deadpool that part of why it was awesome was because it mercilessly poked fun at how broken the other movies are. So now even John Q. Mouth Breather can see the problems with this.
Yep.
So good job, guys. But I guess the big thing, and the thing that I wanted to, discuss with Matt here and now, do you think one of the caveats of them rebooting could be in any way connected to the new X-Men TV shows that they're coming down the pipeline, like Hellfire Club and Legion? And bigger than that, do you think the reason they're so gung-ho about rebooting so quickly, do you think they made a deal with Marvel? Do you think they made a Sony deal?
Maybe.
In a perfect
it's
world,
definitely
right?
Possible. Well, like Fox, they own the X-Men, but they also own Fantastic Four and everything. So I don't know. Like, they could have worked some deal out with, because I doubt Marvel Studios wants the X-Men, because that's too many characters and they've already got their stuff working, and don't want to break to focus on those characters when they can focus on the characters they own wholesale. So maybe there's something in there where they got the Fantastic Four, or at least like the Fantastic Four villains, like Doom and Silver Surfer and Galactus and whatnot.
I would be perfectly A-okay with that. I mean, maybe too, a thing that pushed them over the edge, and again, this is in a perfect world dream scenario. I would love to think that they heard the rumblings and the rumors of how good Spider-Man Homecoming is right now, with the help from Marvel Studios, and they're like, well, geez, how about you come and take some of the pressure off us for X-Men?
Yeah, and they probably saw like the reception Spider-Man got in Civil War and how good he was in that.
Like, I mean, if I was a young intern or young president at Fox, I'd be like, guys, that could have been Wolverine. That could have been us getting the bump off the back of this.
Yeah, exactly. They probably thought like, oh, could you imagine if like our X-Men characters were in that movie? They would have been popular as hell.
It's the perfect win-win for Sony. They had a poisoned franchise after Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Spider-Man shows up in Civil War, which was going to be one of the biggest movies of the summer anyway. They did all the marketing, did all the hard work for them, and now when Homecoming comes out, they'll get to reap the benefits of it, right alongside Marvel and Disney.
Yep.
Fans are happy, too. You get a ton of good faith, because, people aren't dogpiling Sony anymore, because we're like, oh, good, they come and let Spider-Man play with the Avengers, now we all get to be happy, because all our action figures can finally play in the same sandbox again. Just saying, Fox, if you're out there listening, and I mean, obviously, Matt, some people listen to the comic Multiverse. Just look at all the stuff we picked right in the CW shows.
Oh, yeah.
It would only do you good if you let the X-Men and Fantastic Four come play with the Marvel Avengers. The only reason you're not doing it now is because of inflated egos.
Yeah, and even if it was just, like, certain characters to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so like, small. So like maybe Professor X shows up or something.
That's a must.
Yeah.
Let's do our 5. Who are our 5 mutants that are a must? Wolverine, obviously. He's basically the face of the franchise, whether you love it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier, same deal. Absolute must. Just such a cool character. There's a guy who's on the Illuminati. You gotta love him. You gotta have
Beast.
See, I love Beast. I think you could do it without Beast, but Beast is definitely my personal favorite good mutant, so I would love to see him in there. You gotta have bad guys, so you gotta have Magneto. I mean, he's one of the best comic book villains ever. Imagine Magneto versus Iron Man. Imagine that fight. Be like, oh, sorry, you can't, your iron suit is no good against the Master of Magnet. Heck, imagine, like, Magneto talking to the Hydra villains, or to, like, Red Skull and those guys. Be like,
that'd be amazing.
Be like, huh, so you're Nazis, huh? You don't say. Crush. Pulls up his wrist and shows them, like, the writing on his arm right there, crush. Which, geez, I guess you would have to recast them again, but you could.
Oh, yeah, definitely, and I wouldn't even mind, like, an older Magneto, like how he is in the comics, like that please. Sort of like 50-year-old guy.
Christoph Waltz is Eric Lenscher.
Oh, don't joke about it.
No, we gotta save Christoph Waltz for when we eventually recast Red Skull.
Oh.
Look, he can be either. You can flip a coin, he can be either one. So, okay, so we got Wolverine, we got Xavier, we got Beast, we got Magneto. Who's the 5th one? I guess we should get a woman in there. I would say either Mystique or Jean Grey.
I'd probably say Jean Grey, maybe Rogue.
Oh, you know, I would like Rogue a lot, too. But make her cartoon Rogue, finally. Make her fiery Southern Belle Rogue, finally.
That'd be pretty cool.
Where she's super strong, and she can fly, and she can do... Well, here's the thing, because we'll have Captain Marvel, finally, in this universe. So tell that story. Have Rogue be like, yeah, I touched Captain Marvel at one point. Or Miss Marvel, as she was at the time. And yeah, now I have all her powers.
Yeah.
That's why I can fly, and I'm super strong and everything. Yeah, just tell that story.
And what's great as well is that even if they do intend to bring these mutants over, they have like an easy in with this whole Inhuman thing, because they could just be like, oh, there's new Inhumans, but they find out that they're not, and there's something in their genes that has made them mutants, like the X gene and something. So they're like an offshoot of Inhumans, or people think they're an offshoot of Inhumans or something.
Be like, yeah, it's something completely new and different. As we've said before, Fantastic Four would be easy to work into the universe as it is now. I think there's 100 cool and interesting ways you could get them. And mutants are harder, though, because it's not just one team of 4 people. It's a whole universe of characters.
Yeah, it's a whole species, basically.
And either you got to treat it as they're brand new, and they've just shown up, or they've been here all along, and then you'd have to write some bullshit about how we didn't know.
Yeah.
It'd be difficult. I'm not saying they can't do it, but it would be difficult. Or you do the classic Marvel thing, you make it a tongue-in-cheek joke, and you just hand-wave it away.
Well, you know, now they've got like characters like Doctor Strange and everything. You can change time and deviate timelines and everything. Like, that was a big thing in Doctor Strange about Wong always saying, like, you change the littlest thing, you change the whole timeline and everything.
Sure would be. Be like, yeah, hey, and remember in that fight with Thanos? You had to, like, open up a tear to defeat him? That was good and everything, but you created mutants while you were at it.
Yeah, a virus, an interdimensional virus came through and infected half the population or something.
Or better yet, you created a world where mutants already existed.
Yeah.
So the work's already done for you. I'd like that. But, yeah, so that's the X-Men news, and I would say either way it's an interesting time. I don't like not liking what they do with X-Men. I especially don't like not liking what's going on in the X-Men comics, and I would really like everyone to play nice and get their shit together, so maybe I could actually read and enjoy the comics again.
Yeah, it would be great.
Because at this point right here, I have dropped all my X-Men books, and I have no intention of picking any of them up, except for maybe X-Men versus Inhumans, but that's more of a gotta see what happens here, gotta follow the Inhumans, because they're at least important now.
Yeah, the only X-Men book I review, like, on a constant basis is All New Wolverine.
That's true. I do that in Old Man Logan, but I don't even consider those to be X-Men books anymore because they're so far removed from anything that's actually happening in the other X-Men books. They might as well be things unto themselves.
Yep.
So yeah, that's that, everybody. And I guess with that out of the way, we can hop into what we read this week. And it was a really solid week, wasn't it, Matt?
It was. It was a pretty jam-packed week, but they were all really good comics.
They were. I will let you go first. This has been the first time in I think 2 or 3 weeks we've actually had a chance to talk about comic books.
Yeah, we haven't talked for a long time about comics.
Stuff kept coming up.
I'm going to start with a book that kind of surprised me this week, and that is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps issue 8.
Oh, yes. I heard lots of people going on about this. Apparently this book's been on fire recently.
Oh, yeah, you haven't been reading it, have you?
No, I've been reading Green Lanterns. I haven't been reading the Hal Jordan one.
You need to read this book. It's so good. So last issue, both Hal Jordan and Sinestro died.
Oh.
Hal turned to pure will and blew up Warworld, which in turn killed Sinestro.
Which is like where on his top 10 list of most baller things he's ever done.
So with him dead, his ring's gone looking for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, the Green Lantern Corps, led by John Stewart, heads to Tom Aray's planet and fights a Starro.
Oh, cool. I always like it when Starros come back.
Starro was in 2 comics this week.
Really? Good for Starro.
In New Superman as well. And while they're fighting it, they actually end up getting bottled up by Brainiac.
Oh, Green Lanterns versus Brainiac? That's going to be cool.
And the thing is, I didn't know this was happening, and it was in the title of the story. The story is called Bottled Light. And I'm like, I thought, that's just, not going to be anything with the title. And then the end, fucking Brainiac 2.0 comes and he bottles the Starro and bottles the city the Green Lanterns are on, and taking them to the Grand Collector and everything.
Here's a question. In DC Rebirth, what does Brainiac actually look like now? Because he went through like several redesigns in the New 52.
Well, the one we see in the comic I don't think is actually Brainiac. I think it's just one of his robots.
Right.
But he looks like just like a Brainiac robot.
Okay, I was going to say, when we see Brainiac again, I wonder, is he going to be wearing the dress, or is he going to look like he did in the animated series? Is he going to look like he did in the Jeff Johns run? What do you think he's going to look like?
I hope he's the Jeff Johns one, big buff one.
You like that one? You like Buffy? You see, I kind of like the cartoon one. I like the one where he's more robotic than organic, but that's just me.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
I like the Borg Collective one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. But then again, maybe I just love the voice actor a lot, too, because whenever I read Brainiac, I read him in that voice.
Yeah, in that, like, HAL 9000 voice.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea, too, to have the Green Lanterns fight Brainiac. Have the Green Lanterns ever fought Brainiac before?
I think in, like, crossovers and stuff, but not really, like, gone head-to-head with him personally. And it was a total swerve. Like, I had no idea he was turning up.
It seems like such a no-brainer, too, right? Because they're all out in space together. You'd think they'd run into each other more often.
Yeah, and also the comic ends with Hal's ring going in and finding the Guardians of Oa, who were apparently dead, but weren't. They were hiding out on the Indigo Tribe's planet.
As they always are, hiding out, those little Smurf mofos. They're never really dead. They're like roaches. You can't get rid of them. I wonder, how long do you think Hal Jordan is going to stay dead this time?
I don't know. I know he's literally dead, so and so is Sinestro, so...
I mean, the book is called Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, so you can't really have a Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps book without Hal Jordan.
I imagine Kyle Rayner would be involved somehow in bringing him back, since he's a White Lantern.
And he can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else did we have happening this week? All-Star Batman #4.
I read this one. I kind of liked it.
This is the awkward middle child of this series, I will agree.
Yeah, and like The thing I said in my review, like, I get Batman has to have gadgets and everything, but pictorial speakers is kind of pushing it.
He's basically Iron Man. He basically did an arc blast in this.
Yeah, pictorial speakers are kind of pushing it.
What I laughed about it, though, is I'm like, Batman actually acted like a bat in this issue. He was blinded and couldn't see, and he defeated villains via Sonic.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this issue was definitely the awkward middle child of this series, because it had no real beginning and no real end.
And Batman's dialogue was kind of weird, like him saying rock and roll will never die, and just really random stuff like that didn't fit well with the character, especially in that situation.
You know what I think that was a reference to? I'm sure you know the great meme page that is out there of Batman from a story. It's an Elseworld story. I think it's called Fortunate Son. And in it, Robin is trying to talk to Batman about music, and it's in that story we find out Batman hates music. And yeah, Batman hates music, right? He hates crime and he hates music. And Robin's like, but there was a lot of good punk coming out when you were my age. And Batman's response, again, this is out there online, I'm sure you can see, and he's like, punk is nothing but violence and death and the wailing of a beast. And it's like, wow, I had no idea Batman hated music so much. So I like Scott Snyder's version of Batman is like, nah, Batman loves to rock. Batman has a bat guitar in the bat basement, and he'll plug it into an amp and he'll melt your face. That's all the next arc of this is going to be. Scott Snyder just telling a story of how Batman saves the day via rockin'. He teams up with Jack Black, and they have to have a guitar duel against Dave Grohl Satan.
Yeah, they have to save the local community center.
I would read that. And because it's Scott Snyder, everyone would buy it too. I would love if I could get to a point as a writer where I was so well respected and, so well reviewed and everything that I could basically just mess with an entire audience, where I would just come out with the most insane story and everyone would try really hard to decipher its meaning and what I was trying to say. Yeah,
just like write a story of like Batman's night off, where he literally just sits down and watches Netflix, and it's like, but what does it mean? What does it? Is it a commentary on socialism or something?
It sure is. It's all those things. Man, I loved the part where Batman just scratched himself for 2 panels.
Yes.
He got right in there, too. Clearly, that's an indictment of the new election right there. And where he says, Alfred, more pies. Good stuff. But yeah, I mean, this story was just okay. I hope it ends a little stronger. Probably my favorite thing I can say about this issue is I like what they do with the Duke story, because it ends up like hooking back up to the beginning of it, and you're like, okay, so that's what was up.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It also makes me think the final issue in this one is going to be longer, because they won't have the Duke back up anymore to deal with.
Yeah, it'd probably be double size, and that way they can charge more for it.
And because it's Scott Snyder, we'll pay it.
Yeah.
See, they know their market. What else did you have, Matt?
I had Earth to Society, issue 18.
Apparently some crazy shit happened at the end of this.
Some crazy shit did happen. So last issue, well, the issue before that, Fury opened the Pandora Codex box thing, and it's rewriting the Earth. And what's basically happening is, I'm blanking on it. It rewrites the Earth into Earth 2 Original.
Classic, before they changed the formula.
Yep.
Original recipe, Earth 2.
Yep, and it looks exactly like the same. Like it's Metropolis that's in the animated series.
Ooh.
Like that Art Deco sort of look.
Love it.
And then Commander Steel turns up, who looks exactly like Steel from Legends, not the JSA Steel, the one
but
from
the new guy.
Yeah, the new guy. It looks exactly like him.
He does.
And same kind of costume.
It gets even funnier because we've seen what his costume is going to look like in that show when he eventually gets one, because we've seen some pictures of all the CW show heroes together, and yeah, it's just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he basically pulls a Terminator. He's like, come with me if you want to live.
Yep.
Now, do we think that this will somehow tie up Earth 2 Society with that new JSA book when they eventually end up making that?
I think so. I think they're going to do that because this is basically just a restart for Earth 2. So
Yeah, because they're in such an awkward position when it comes to Earth 2 and the JSA, because it's like, but we're already writing those characters, though, on Earth 2, just younger versions. You can't just go and make older versions of them in the main universe. That'll be super confusing.
yeah, and I think they are going to be doing that because when he turns up, he's obviously already a hero and everything, so he's probably part of the society or Justice Society or whatever the hell it is in this universe. So yeah.
Tell you what, if Johnny Thunder from the DC Rebirth Universe #1 issue and the Hourglass from all that promotional artwork, if that comes back, tell me, because I'll start reading again. Like, that's literally what I need. I'm like, okay, I'm in now. You got me. You won. Speaking of olden-timey heroes, we had an olden-timey Avenger book this week with Avengers 1.1. Did you see this one, Matt?
I did. I read it and reviewed it, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It's a nice little blast from the past. You know, it felt like going to your grandma's house, only your grandma's Captain America. Throwing her shield around. Yeah, I mean, basically this is a retelling of the original 60s Avengers plotline when Giant Man, the Hulk, and Iron Man had to leave for whatever reason, and Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch joined the team.
Yeah, and what I really liked about it is that it's kind of like a break from all these like cosmic level storylines we've been getting with the Avengers and all these Marvel characters. So it's really kind of refreshing just to have them fight. The Frightful Five or something?
Frightful Four, or Frightful Five.
Frightful Five. Yeah, yeah.
Which
so
is
it was really funny, really fun with them just fighting random villains.
Loser 60s Marvel villains, which is even better because they're gloating about defeating the Fantastic Four, and then they have a little thing where it's like, this happened in Fantastic Four, whatever, so they're actually treating this like it's an actual old comic book story.
Yeah, yeah. It's great.
Also, Medusa's a villain, and on the Frightful Four, then I'm like, oh yeah, she was a villain for a bit, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's the thing, like, and that's like a big part of the storyline in this, with Cap having to train 3 people who were villains, and the world still views them as villains.
Which all this time later, we just take it for granted that Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Hawkeye are just like, oh, well, they're good guys. They've always been good guys.
Yeah.
When in fact they haven't. That's kind of cool. What else did you have going on?
I had Wonder Woman issue 10.
Ooh, I haven't read that yet. Is it good?
Oh, it's so good. Nicola Scott's art in this book particularly, is just on point.
It is eye-poppingly beautiful.
Absolutely amazing. This continues the Year 1 storyline.
Ah, nice.
And Steve, Eder, and Barb Rand take Diana to a shopping center for the first time, and during that, a bunch of crazy gunmen come in and kill a bunch of people.
Because it is America.
Yeah, because it's just Trump's America, you know.
Even though it's comic book past, it still Trump's America. Don't worry, I'm sure he'll be rewriting it soon to where it's always been Trump's America. It's never not been Trump's America.
And this is sort of Wonder Woman's debut to the world. She saves a bunch of people from these gunmen, and the gunmen are also tied into that Truth storyline that just wrapped up.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
That's a nice bit of connective tissue too, because in the previous issue they take Barbara and Minerva to the mall to get some new clothes because she's not a crazy cat monster anymore.
Yeah, they have all these little things they're connecting together, which is really great.
Yeah, I know lots of people complain they have a hard time reading this Wonder Woman book because it keeps trading off every issue between a past story and a future story. I at least like that they put those little things, and I think that'll make it more enriching to read and trade when you do.
Yep, definitely.
It's funny, too, in that mall story. Now I'm just talking about old stuff that I like. Wonder Woman, Etta Candy asks her, where it's like, oh, are you going to get something new to wear, Wonder Woman? She's like, no, every time I change my clothes, people freak out. And she's so right. Every time they've ever tried to change Wonder Woman's costume, people have thrown a massive shit fit.
It is true.
Which I can agree, because, I mean, heck, every time they've tried to change Superman's costume, I get a little upset and a little antsy and be like, no, it was perfect the first time.
Remember that jacket she wore at the start of the New 52?
She did. She had a jacket. They changed the gold to silver. There was pants. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many arguments I had about people who are, you know, pro pants and anti pants. And I'm like, this is the silliest argument I've ever been in.
And then she had the DCU uniform, which had those random, like knife things coming out of her gauntlets.
Oh
and,
yeah, I blocked that from my mind. You're right. She did have
yeah.
that for a bit.
It was okay. She had it for like a month, and because that's how long DCU lasted. So.
See, that's the problem with Wonder Woman as a whole, where it's like she'll have these great runs, then they'll just junk everything and start over.
Yeah, I don't know how many origins she's had in like the last 5 years alone.
This year alone, it seems like every book that came out was a new origin story for Wonder Woman.
It's true. It's true.
That being said, a lot of them were really good. I still think Bombshells did it the best.
Yep.
I really like Bombshell's new origin of Wonder Woman. I thought they take all the things that we know but arrange them in a different way. And I mean, honestly, Rucka's doing that too, taking all the things you know and love but arranging them in different ways.
Yeah, it's great.
And I guess from Wonder Woman 2, we should talk about Superman in Action Comics.
Yeah, 967. Really cool.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Man, to think we're going to be hitting 1,000 on that one soon.
Oh, so close. And this issue, we were just talking about costumes.
Yes.
They give a reason why Superman is in this new one.
Freaking loved that. That was amazing. That was 10 on 10 right there.
And it's a great reason as well. And it's a reason I actually thought of as well. It's like, he's gone for a more 52 look, so people sort of ease into him as a new Superman.
I'm new, but I'm different, but I'm also classic at the same time. I'm everything to all people.
Yep.
It's a nice touch. They also put the focus back on Lex Luthor here and asked some really important questions, and that is, hey, if you were King of Apocalypse, why are you still hanging out down here? What are you doing? Just weaponizing this mother box. Don't mind me. Just weaponizing the mother box. It's all good.
And I do think, though, that thing we saw at the start where apparently someone from Apocalypse, who everyone seems to think is Lex Luthor, destroys Earth again with all the parademons and whatnot. I don't think it's Lex Luthor. I think it's someone else.
No, I think it's too obvious, because why would they show us the silhouette then never show us anything else? I mean, you could... The obvious thing would be, but what if it was Superman who did it, if they did one of those? Here's my pitch for you, Matt, and if I'm right, everyone out there's got to buy me a Coke. What if it's Jonathan?
I was just about to say, what if it's John, or what if it's his sister?
Ooh. Yeah, lots of cool places you could go with this. Imagine if Superman had to deal with that, where it's like, but these guys say in the future you become an evil tyrant.
Well, also remember, I can't remember who it was, but remember, I think it was in the DC special. Remember that guy that Mr. Oz was saying? We haven't seen Mr. Oz for a while.
No.
Remember, he was saying that John is different.
Yeah.
He's different, and it's been evidenced in recent comics. He's faster than Superman. His powers are coming quicker than Superman's. Yeah. Maybe he's half apocalyptic or something.
Ooh, wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be cool, man. I like the two time-traveling assassins right there. Lakal the Godslayer and Zayd.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I know what I'm calling my next D&D characters. I can tell you that much right now.
Lakal the Godslayer.
I mean, you better be good if you have the name Godslayer in your name. See, I'm too much of a smartass, because if I met a dude named Lakal the Godslayer, I'd be like, okay, what exact gods did you slay? Can you give me their names, please?
Yeah, I need to look them up on Wikipedia.
And they better be good gods, too, like of war and the harvest. They better not be like, weak-ass gods, like of tricks and stuff.
Yeah, like of speed and whatnot.
Yeah, they better be gods of cool things, not like of lame things. I don't want like some pagan trickster god no one's prayed to in a million years. I've just been going around killing the ancient Sumerian gods. They weren't doing much. It was easy. They were all old and decrepit. Better be like some hip new gods you were killing. What from killing new gods to what else did you have, Matt?
Now we haven't talked about Invincible Iron Man issue 1.
Yes, I was very pleasantly surprised by this.
Yeah, the new Riri Williams comic. It was pretty cool. It was her origin, basically. How she was a child genius who was bored.
Yeah. Which is very much like Tony, and in fact very much like many characters in the Marvel Universe. I like the child psychologist basically says, look, we live in the Marvel Universe, and if your kid's a genius, it means they're either going to grow up to be Reed Richards or Doctor Doom, so you better be really nice to her or she might kill us all. Don't let this be the first chapter in a supervillain origin story.
And she fought a villain called Animax. Is she like an X-Men villain or something? I had someone tell me that they're like appeared in an X-Men book or something.
Animax is an on-running joke in Bendis books. He has her show up and get beaten up by heroes on their first day.
Really?
Yes, I think she showed up in like the very first time-traveling X-Men story when he was writing that, and she got beaten up on their first day.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I like that she like just attacks some little podunk town in Wyoming, and she's like kind of upset that there's a hero there to stop her.
She's like, oh good, I'm out of New York, no one can get me here. Ah, crap.
Oh, God damn it, an Iron Man.
They just follow me everywhere, man. Yeah, this story had some cool and interesting stuff going on here, but more than anything, I think this first issue stands as a testament of what Brian Michael Bendis is capable of when he gives a shit.
Yeah, and I think he will give a shit about this character for a while since he created her.
Yeah. And you know what? It's only a matter of time until she teams up with Miles, right, and Jessica Jones, because he's writing those books as well.
Oh, yeah, she'll probably, join the Champions or something.
Well, that's technically Wade, but yeah, I could see her joining that team too.
She'll join the Champions in this book.
Oh, right, of course. I mean, man, we got such an excess of cool young Marvel heroes right now. You could have Robbie Reyes and X-23 Wolverine and Riri and that new Falcon who's hanging out with Sam. You could have them all come together and join a team.
That'd be pretty cool.
Silk could be their den mother, and yeah, there you go. There's your team right there.
That'd be pretty cool.
Could have Captain America's time-traveling son if he ever comes back. What happened to him? What happened to Nomad?
No idea.
When they had Secret Wars, he had like a whole tie-in where he fell into a universe where Hydra won the war, and he fought them. I never read how that story ended, but I'm like, did he ever make it out of that universe, or did just no one care where his alternate universe son went? I just like the idea that Steve Rogers had a son for a bit, and he loved him, and he raised him, and now no one cares where he is. Except for Rick Remender, because he wrote both those stories, so I'm sure when Remender comes back, he'll write that character in somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Invincible Iron Man, really fun book. I think the sky's the limit on this one, especially with what's happening in Infamous Iron Man, because it's only a matter of time until these two characters start clashing.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They'll fight for who gets to be the rightful Iron Man, who gets to wield the armor, and I think that'll be sweet.
It will be.
Be like, hey, Doom, you're trying to be a nice guy, but are you going to mess up this teenager? Are you going to hit a kid? Well, are ya? Doom does not hit children. He has people who does that for him.
Doombots will.
Yeah, really. That's what you do when you Doom. What was interesting about this book, too, is because, they give you pretty much her entire origin in one issue. They throw her in the deep end, but you as the reader get thrown in with her, and when she actually succeeds by the end of the story, you feel like you succeeded, too. I like that feeling.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, yeah.
Because I know with Riri, I'm like, she has all the potential in the world, but they're doing this kind of quick, and I don't really know that much about her, at least with all these other characters they started. I knew them before they took up these new identities, but here they do a good thing. I know a lot of people made the comparison to Miles Morales in the early days of Ultimate Spider-Man, and I'm like, yeah, I see the connection.
Yeah, it's really cool.
When Bendis is on his A game, he can make you care in a very short amount of time, and that's his strength as a writer.
It's true.
He can also tick you off really quickly when he doesn't care, or when he's bored. But yeah, so that was that one, everybody. What else did you have, Matt?
I had Podammer in issue 8.
Oh, yes, getting that Star Wars on.
Yeah, this was a Agent Terex-centric issue.
Nice.
We find out a little bit more about him, and we find out that he was a stormtrooper during the Battle of Jakku.
Oh.
And him and a squad mate of his named Korlak went rogue after they found out the Empire was losing, killed their commander and kind of buried their armor and everything, and they built this really cool ship out of the head of an Imperial Walker, TIE fighter wings and everything, to escape the planet and go against the Empire because they knew they were losing. They were trying to save themselves, basically. And yeah, it was mainly about him and everything, and how he's now part of the First Order, and he's got this cool set of samurai armor that's made out of all pieces of stormtrooper armor.
That's awesome.
And he wears it at the end of this issue, but it's more from Poe as well, who learns apparently of he learns of the location of Supreme Leader Snoke. And he's going after him. So I don't think Snoke's going to appear in this book. I think maybe that was probably a trap by Terex.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get the feeling he fails, given everything we know.
Yeah, but maybe if like Snoke does appear, it'll only be like for a hologram or like a shadowy figure in the distance or something.
Right.
But I'm excited to see what happens next.
Man, I gotta catch up on them. I gotta catch up on the Star Wars.
Charles Soule's doing an amazing job, and it's art by Phil Noto as well, so it looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks real pretty. Looks real nice. What else did I have going on? Oh, we didn't talk about Detective Comics yet.
Oh, this was pretty cool. The Victim Syndicate.
I like them. They're a good idea for villains.
They are, and what's really interesting is we actually find out who they are, except for the first victim. We don't know who that is.
Or even if they're a he or she.
Yeah, it's kind of left ambiguous.
I dig that.
And I like that they're all related to Batman in some way. Like they were like ex-henchmen of like Joker, or one of them was infected by poison ivy for 3 months or something, and one was the student of Scarecrow and everything.
Yeah, they were all caught in the crossfire of attacks that were meant for Batman, more or less.
Yeah, so I'm interested who the first victim is.
Yeah, because she's saying, I am the first victim, I am the first person you hurt.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be.
Well, here's my theory, because we see Leslie Tompkins show up in the book, right? And she is basically back to being post-War Games Leslie Tompkins, where she's like, oh, Batman, I disagree with what you're doing with these children, with these sidekicks. It's far too dangerous for them to be out here. That sounds very first victim-ish, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
And I'm going to say, too, where she's like, look, I was your surrogate mother, Bruce. I tried to help you, but you hurt me by becoming Batman, and now you're drawing other children into it. Other children who I've tried to help.
It could definitely be her, but in saying that seems a bit too obvious.
It does. They basically had a big red flag of being like, oh, be suspicious of me.
Yeah, so I think it's someone else.
Yeah, it's
someone else.
It's probably got to be. But still, I like that characterization because, geez, Leslie Tompkins has been all over the goddamn place. Sometimes she's young, sometimes she's old. Sometimes she's fine with what Batman's doing, sometimes she's not. They really can't keep her straight to think this one old lady and no one knows how she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I swear at this point they're just messing with eagle-eyed fans where it's like, okay, who can we keep making different and see if anybody notices? But yeah, that's a fun book. I like that Batwing is back in it now. I was always a big booster of Luke Fox as a character, and even though he's basically a different character now, I'm glad he's back in the fold.
Yep.
What else did you have, Matt?
Well, the last book I read this week so far is Superwoman issue 4.
Ooh.
Lana is still trying to figure out what's killing her and what's gonna kill her. She gets haunted by the ghost of the New 52 Lois Lane.
I heard about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's something in her mind or something.
Right, it's not really
these powers may be playing a trick on her or something. But what was really cool and something I really appreciated was we had a character from the Superman family come back into Rebirth and hadn't been in New 52. And that character is Tracy 13. She used to be like this kind of like a sidekick for Superman for a little bit in the early 2000s, and then like had run-ins with like Blue Beetle, and I think at one point she was like a sidekick being trained by Ralph and Sue Dibney.
Yeah, that's where I think I know her from.
Yeah, so she just like appeared out of nowhere and is like, you have to stop Lena Luthor, she's got to destroy the city.
She's magical, right?
I think so, yeah. I vaguely remember her. I had to like look her up.
Yeah, she's a Joe Kelly creation. Yeah, I vaguely remember this character.
Yeah, and this is that thing that Rebirth is doing, is bringing back all these like family characters.
That's a good
and
thing.
Everything.
I like that.
Yeah.
More characters is always cool.
Yeah, but that was a really cool issue. I really liked it.
Of course I knew who Tracy 13 was, because Joel has a thing for hot goth girls. I will be sure to put her right next to Black Alice and Raven in the pantheon of DC goth girls. They can all hang out together. It'll be great. It'll be great. You'll see it. Everyone will love it. It'll be great. I guess if that's it for you for Superman, I have two last books to talk about, and these are both Spider-Man related. One is Clone Conspiracy #2, and the other one is Renew Your Vows #1.
I read Renew Your Vows, but I didn't review it.
Okay. Well, then I guess we'll talk about Renew Your Vows first. What did you think of it, Matt? Because I already did a full video on it.
Well, I haven't really read Spider-Man since Superior Spider-Man.
And you really don't have to. In fact, this is a good go-over because it's the same artist from Superior.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was pretty cool. The thing I really liked about it, though, was the backup story.
Oh, that was my favorite. That was great. The comic strip style story of Spider-Man and his daughter.
Yeah, I really liked that one. But I thought it was a really cool storyline with the Mole Man and whatnot. So
I love he pawns his kid off on Sandman. If there was any villain you could pawn your kid off on, it's Sandman. Hey, can you watch her for a bit, Flint? Yeah, okay. He's just building sandcastles for her. I love that Sandman is such a non-threat. Spider-Man's like, hey, watch my kid for a bit. I couldn't get a sitter, so I just got Sandman to do it. Oh, that was so awesome. Yeah, I mean, the book itself, were you confused? Because this book kind of takes on after the Secret Wars Renew Your Vows.
I wasn't really confused because I kind of knew that to begin with. But it was pretty good it was a good starting on point for people who maybe haven't read Spider-Man in a while.
Definitely. Oh yeah, it's a very fresh start. Everyone on social media was arguing with me saying, no, Joel, it's not a continuation of the Secret War story. The writer Jerry Conway said so on Twitter. And then I'm like, okay, then why are they talking about defeating Regent and everything, which happened in that story?
Yeah.
Also, so far we haven't seen any mention of any other superheroes yet, but like Regent killed all those heroes in that story. Then again, you run into another weird thing where it's like, well, but if all the universes were destroyed at the end of Secret Wars, how is this universe back and being continued? That is, of course, unless Mr. Fantastic and his family rebuilt that universe the exact way it was, but some things were different, and maybe some things weren't, and I'm like, oh my god, comics hurt my head sometimes. And then I'm like, look, let's just agree we're all wrong. How about that?
Yep.
We're all wrong. Nothing is right. Life is short. And we're all going to die. How about that? Let's just put a big old pin in that one. But yeah, fun story. Again, it's just, this is the Spider-Man story people have been asking for a long time. What if he was married and had a family, had superhero problems, but also had married guy problems?
Yeah, it's a great storyline.
Yeah, I mean, this is Conway doing it. Who, of course, Conway is a legend in the realm of Spider-Man and Marvel Comics. He was definitely the right guy to pitch this one for, because basically he just tells a classic Spider-Man story, just with a couple tweaks and changes.
Yeah, I much prefer it than the, current tech billionaire Spider-Man.
See, I don't hate tech billionaire Spider-Man. I know they
got... Oh, yeah, I don't hate it, but I much prefer this than that.
Yeah, and that's the perfect thing now. Now we have chocolate and vanilla. Now we can service both tastes. If you like Renew Your Vows, you can read Renew Your Vows, and if you like the main Spider-Man, you could read that too.
Yep.
It's basically everyone wins now. You can have your cake and eat it too, and that's wonderful. Clone Conspiracy, interestingly enough, I did not really like this when it started. This was definitely like more work than pleasure, but I knew I had to do it anyway. And even people in the comment sections weren't really liking and digging on it. This issue changed everything, though.
Yeah?
So up until now, we were all assuming, like, oh, Clone Conspiracy, more clones. This is going to be a spiritual successor to all those stories people hated. Not really, because Kane shows up in this, and the last time we saw Kane the Scarlet Spider, he had died in Spider-Verse, or seemingly died. He's back now and apparently has been fighting clones and New You all over the multiverse, because apparently these new Jackal clones, when they degrade and when they get off their pills and they go bad, they become zombies.
Oh.
And they've destroyed entire universes zombieing out, and Kane's been basically fighting a one-man war against these clones across the multiverse. And the reason the clones end up taking over is because Peter Parker and Parker Industries help New You and the Jackal. Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool, actually, now you lost me, but now you got me again.
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool.
Because essentially what you're saying is this isn't a spiritual successor to the Clone Saga. It's a spiritual successor to Spider-Verse. And you're bringing back all these other characters. We even got to see the first new meeting of Spider-Gwen and Peter Parker.
Oh, cool.
We did. They've been building up to that forever because, she could jump in back and forth between universes, but she didn't want to see Peter again because she thought it would be really awkward to see her again. Here they do a great swerve because, once again, Peter Parker sees a clone of Gwen Stacy that doesn't set off his spider sense, and you think, oh god, we're going down this road again? Only it wasn't a clone at all, it was Spider-Gwen. So, they played the audience and played Peter Parker, and I'm like, okay, Dan, okay, you got me. You kind of got me back in now. You lost me and the build-up was sort of lame, but now I'm interested. And they've even given Jackal a great motivation for bringing people back. So that conversation got cut short, because apparently you can't praise Clone Conspiracy for too long without getting kicked off Skype. And right at the end, too, we were at the wrap-up, basically.
Yep.
Now I'm going to have to tack this crap on at the end. Thanks, Trump. I was going to say thanks, Obama, but that joke doesn't make sense anymore.
Thanks, Skype, Trump.
Yeah, thanks, Skype, Trump. Maybe you should build walls. I don't know, man. It's so unfunny. It's that's the thing, where it's it was so funny when we were thinking about it, but now that it's actually happened, it's not even funny anymore. I had so many wonderfully catty jokes I was going to spring on my American friends, but then, when the actual news came in that it was real, they were all so bummed and so depressed, I felt like a jerk if I actually said anything. So I just had to sit on them, and I had to be a nice guy. But yeah, hey, comics. So that was the comics for this week. They were all pretty good. I didn't read Batgirl and Birds of Prey yet, but I plan to. That's about it for me. What about you, Matt?
That's pretty much all for me. I've still got, Supergirl to read, and then that's it.
Nice. Big, solid week. Lots of good news we could talk about. As always, if you are a patron, you will be getting to hear this show first before anybody else over on the Patreon page. We're doing pretty good. I think we've been at $95 for the last little bit there, so we've almost hit 100. But yeah, again, if you become a patron, you get to listen and hear all sorts of amazing stuff over there. You do good by me and Matt, letting that happen. You can always listen and download the show on Podbean if you want. Thank you people for reminding me in my travel. I had forgotten to upload the Doctor Strange spoiler cast. Look, it got up on YouTube, it just didn't get up on Podbean. I've done it for 40 other ones, but I didn't get it for this one. So thank you for reminding me. I will be sure to get that up properly this week. When the time is right for that. Anything planned on your channel this week, Matt? Anything you're going to be up to?
Not really. I just released a new part for my Superman in Media series. Nice. I released that last night. It's about Superman the Animated Series.
My favorite.
So I think a lot of people will be happy with that. And I got some other reviews and stuff coming up in the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for them.
Sweet, wicked awesome. As always, be sure to keep your eyes peeled to the channel for more reviews coming up very soon. I got my TV stuff coming up soon. I've decided to start reviewing all the week's shows together. This is going to be a weird week because there was no Rebels, and there was no Flash, and there was no S.H.I.E.L.D., so I had to get a little creative. There was Legends, weirdly enough. I like all the other shows took a week off, but no, don't worry. You'll get your fill of Legends. It's here. Don't worry. No need to trample each other. You will see what is happening with Legends this week. I got that. I'm probably going to review Westworld just for the hell of it this week because there's nothing else.
Cool.
And Westworld Theories seem to do really, really well on YouTube, so let's see if I can't get some of that sweet cash.
Awesome.
And I think for a third one, and this is weird, I think I might review the newest episode of Saturday Night Live because it was Dave Chappelle and A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, it's the first one I watched in 3 years. It was really good.
Yeah, it was excellent. And in fact, they've actually had two excellent ones back-to-back because before this, it was Tom Hanks and David S. Pumpkins. It's wow, all it took was Trump becoming president for Saturday Night Live to become relevant again with people who aren't me. And next week is probably going to be good, too, because it's Kristen Wiig, who was a former cast member, and the former cast member episodes are always the best anyway, so there you go.
Yep.
Because Wiig had a million great characters that she did that they can now bring back for this.
Cool.
Man, Dave Chappelle, he does really well with sketches, doesn't he? They should.
He does. He's really good in this one.
They should think about giving Dave Chappelle, I don't know, like a weekly comedy sketch show where he could do characters and social commentary. I think that would do good, Matt, don't you? You know, maybe he could fill it out with some of his friends. Maybe Charlie Murphy could come by. Wouldn't that be fun? I'd like that. I don't know what you would call that show with Chappelle. I mean, if you gave Chappelle his own show, what would you call the Chappelle show?
Dave's show.
I like it. I like it a lot. You could call it that. I would be all for Dave's show. So on that note, everybody, we're going to wind this one down. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, do all that other social network jazz, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.